So, Scott, do you like apples?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, I got H4 on the show. How'd you like them apples?
Fuck you.
Get a little bit of gasoline. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn. Let's go.
You are now listening to the You Run podcast, the only horror movie review podcast completely run and controlled, not by me and Marc, your hosts, but by you, our listeners.
Hey, Scoob! We're on the radio, bro! You wanna die tonight? Zoinks!
You choose the movies. You score them. You review them. You do it all. Because after all, this is not our show. This is your show.
I'm your number one fan, Mr. Man!
It's not perfect. It has its problems.
The You Run podcast.
It was just weird. I don't know. Like, it's like a weird thought.
The You Run podcast.
Bitch, you better not forget about me. Don't you ever forget about me.
Hey, this is Naomi Grossman, best known as Pepper from American Horror Story.
Hi, it's Imitation Dave. Buddy, you son of a bitch.
Just make sure you fucking listen.
This was fucking incredible. He's the one you need to blame.
Get a little bit of gasoline. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn. Let's go. I'ma make it burn.
Hello and welcome to the You Run podcast. My name is Marc. Come on, mate. I know you're on a different seat this week, but this is your turn to chime in.
It's harder than it looks.
It is harder than it looks, isn't it?
Yeah, and I am Scott. Hello.
And you are listening to the only podcast run and controlled by you, the listeners. Week in, week out, we give you the platform to select a movie for Scott and myself to discuss. We take a deep dive into said movie and we share our thoughts as we go. This week, things are going to play out a little bit different than usual because we are finally visiting the long overdue Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Yes, we
Come
are.
on, mate. Come on. Give the people what they want.
Yeah, they're getting what they want, but they're getting it today. That's it.
So as you can tell, Scott is quite furious about this, and he's flat out refused to host this week. But fortunately for you, it's given me the opportunity to take centre stage. Don't worry, Scott is still going to stick around. You are still going to stick around, right, Scott?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, for a while. Depends how lovey you get over H4.
It's going to be pretty tough, mate. It's going to be tough for you to get through. I guarantee you that.
Fuck's sake.
But anyway, however due to Scott for the most, I am going to have to step my game up this week because this is the first time ever I've had to write a show. Each week I tell you that I literally turn up, watch the film, and that's about as far as my input goes. This week has been brutal. I've had to write the show. I've had to do the fact section. I've had to do everything. And it's not been easy. It has consumed so much of my time. So, guys, you really have no idea how much effort Scott puts into each week. So for that reason alone, I would like you to take out whichever device you are listening to this episode on, open the app that you're using, and give us a 5-star review wherever you are.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference to the show. It helps us grow, and it gives us the opportunity to keep providing you as much content as we possibly can.
Yeah, it does. And yeah, I've really enjoyed this week. It's been lovely. I've watched the movie and now I'm ready. It's great.
Yeah. And you're also on holiday as well, which is amazing. So the
Yeah.
1 week when you have the most available time ever, you've had to do nothing.
I could have literally written the most detailed, in-depth episode ever because I've had 2 days off this week. And instead, I've just binged TV and sat and drunk beer and gone out. It's been lovely. It's been great.
And so the 1 week where I actually looked to you for help, you've turned around and said, nah, this is your shit show, you deal with it.
Not being funny. You made your bed, now you fucking lie in it.
Right, so before we dive into Halloween 4, it's time to do this week's recommended account.
Check it out.
It's that time of the week. It's time for Marc to recommend an account.
So this week's recommended account goes to Dark Crown Films. Dark Crown Films is an account that, to be honest, I know very little about. All I do know about them is that they have made a fan film of the 1978, how can I even forget that? 1978 Halloween classic called You Can't Kill the Boogeyman. I'm not one for fan films. They don't really appeal to me. I know there's like is it the Jason ones where it's like,
Yeah.
don't hike? Have you seen any of these?
Yeah, I quite like them. I think they've done for a fan film. They're fantastic.
Yeah, do you give much attention and time to fan films and stuff?
Not really. There's the odd one or two that I will see and I'll go, oh, I quite fancy that. But as a general rule, I don't.
No,
I should
I
do,
thought
but I don't.
There was the Michael versus Jason, I think.
Yeah.
Have you seen that where it's like
Yeah, I
a
have.
big, long, drawn-out fight scene in the forest? That was pretty cool, but as far as like actual narrative and story goes, it kind of dips a little bit. But it was entertaining enough for the 20-minute runtime that it was.
And still had a better storyline than H4.
No. I'm gonna justify this film. Don't you worry. We will get there. Right. So anyway, before we carry on, this fan film is really, really faithful to the classic of Carpenter in tone and in direction and everything else. They put a lot of effort into trying to make these as original as they can. The reason why I'm using it as a recommended account this week is because they have recently announced that they are planning to do a Halloween 4 fan-made sequel, which will pick up directly after the events of Halloween 4.
What's wrong with Halloween 5?
Everything is wrong with Halloween 5. Please. This is a good week for me. Let's not bring it down any more than we need to. But like I said, I've seen the tidbits and the trailers that they put on their account for this, and it looks really, really cool. Like they've put a lot of effort into getting this sort of stuff as I say, faithful as they can, like they did with the one that they've done for the Boogeyman one. What story direction they're going to take it in, I don't know. Hopefully they'll do something a lot more different than the whole Cult of Thorn thing and try and give a bit more fan service to what people actually want.
Yeah, and I'll check out the You Can't Kill the Boogeyman one because I'll be interested to see that. I've not watched a huge amount of fan films, and I should watch more. I really should.
I should, and I feel quite stupid for not giving them the time, really, because 9 times out of 10, fan films are made by the fans. So every gripe you usually have with your favourite franchise, somebody who's madly in love with it, such as myself and H4, would then be like, now you fucked up H5, this is how it should have been done.
Yeah.
And they put the time and the effort in to try and provide you with some sort of content which makes a little bit more sense than what you actually got. So this has got me quite excited to see where they go with it. And you can find the original You Can't Kill a Boogeyman now. It's free to watch on YouTube. It's 30 minutes long. Check it out. Go and follow Dark Crown Films. Give them some attention. And if you're a fan of Halloween or Halloween 4 especially, you'll be excited to see what they've got coming up in the future.
Okay. Before you venture any further, I've got a little bit of a confession to make. So you've waited an incredibly long time for H4.
Yes.
I may have sat on a couple of messages to drag it out.
Okay.
I
knew you were up to something. I knew you were stalling.
I kind of was hoping to get more people that just didn't want it, and it never happened. I just got this barrage of messages, and I was like, I'll play that next week. And then it kind of got to the point where it's gone a bit too far now. Can I still play it? So would you like to hear the ones that you've not heard before?
Yes, please, you massive liar. Please share them with the audience.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, hello. Will you please do H4? This is just a little old lady who just wants to hear it before she passes on. Please, H4, please.
Okay, that was a definite H4 request if ever I've heard one.
That was a definite H4 request. I hope that listener is still alive and gets to hear this episode.
I have no idea who that is.
I'm not going to tell. If anyone knows who that is, message me or call into the show and have a guess at who you think that might be. Here's the next one.
What's your favorite scary movie? Mine's Halloween 4. Now review it or I'll cut you like a fish.
Now that sounds familiar.
That does sound familiar. And that also, I would say, would you say that qualifies as a direct I want H4 on the show?
I think so, yeah. I would pass it off.
Okay.
He sounds very mad about it as well. I wouldn't like to. I hope not be sitting on that too long.
And I've got one more, but I've sat on them longer than I should have. I've got one more. So
it's Tasha from Horror Bestie Breakdown with Angel. My dog Journey and I just listened to this week's episode, and we both feel really bad for Mark. So we feel like it's time to cave, Scott. You just got to let the poor man have H4. Just give the poor man H4.
Usually I would feel a little bit disappointed by the what's the word I'm even looking for here?
Pity.
The sympathy. Yeah, pity and sympathy. Usually I would be embarrassed by it, but I don't care this week.
So I sat on those messages for a little bit longer. To give you an idea, most of those messages come in after Fright Night, which was 4 weeks ago-ish.
Oh, you bad man. You made me wait all this time and everything we did in the Shining episode as well, and you still knew I could have had it 4 weeks earlier.
Yeah, I still made you jump through fiery hoops. So you got here at the end. And thank you to everyone who has called in and has supported Mark, and the one person who supported me. Thanks, Elise. So yeah, they're the ones I held back, and that's pretty much as involved as I'm getting now. I've confessed I feel much less stressed about my continual lies.
Well, this isn't over. Trust me.
Damn.
So by now, I'm sure you are all aware that this week's episode is Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers.
Woohoo!
This exactly. This is a film I love unconditionally. I watch this multiple times a year, and it's always my go-to amongst the franchise. I can't defend it enough, and no matter what you're going to barrage me with, I know. That's what I was about to say. I said, no matter what you're going to throw at me this evening, I'm going to be ready for you. So I'm going to do my best, and as much as I love it, I am going to be honest and I am going to be fair. And although I will try and defend it, if you give a valid point throughout, I will back down. I certainly don't want to lose any credibility over this. I know I'm already teetering on the edge. So that being said, this is a must in any household during the Halloween season. So if you haven't seen it already, check it out. Here's the trailer.
10 years ago, on the night of October 31st, a small Midwestern town fell victim to an escaped killer. Under the cover of darkness, he carried out the most horrifying mass murder on record. 16 people in cold blood. Ever since that night, no one has forgotten his name. And Halloween has never been the same. Now, Michael Myers has come home. He has returned for one more night of unholy terror.
Michael!
Somebody help me!
He's here to kill that little girl and anybody who gets in his way.
Oh, God!
Who's gonna be next?
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Maybe nobody knows how to stop him.
So before we get started and get into this run through, I have 27 pages of notes that I'm going to try and tackle. So if you hear any paper rustling in the background, I do apologize, but I had to be thorough this week.
How have you written 27 pages notes of this movie?
That's not just 27 pages of notes, that's 27 pages of bullet point notes.
But how? How have you got that many bullet point notes?
We're about to find out.
Okay. I'm ready, I think.
This is how thorough I'm going to be. It's going to be scene by scene, so prepare yourself. So the film starts opening on October the 30th, 1998, letting us know that this is set 10 years exactly after the events that occurred on Halloween night in the first and second film. We're then shown in this very eerie sort of farmland.
Tim Burton rip-off.
No, it's like a harvest kind of. This, for me, is the best opening out of the franchise.
This is just they're exposed to the fact that pumpkins were readily available when they made this movie, and they got overexcited. They're fucking everywhere.
Yeah, funny fact though, they're not actually pumpkins. They're all hand painted. I don't know what the fruit is, the vegetable is that looks like pumpkin.
Are they really?
Yeah, there's not a single actual pumpkin in this film.
That's the most impressive thing about this movie.
Fuck off, is it? I really, really like this opening a lot. Like, I know I watched this film multiple times throughout the year, but every time it gets to Halloween season and I see these opening credits, I'm like, yes, here we go. Now we know what time of year it is.
Yeah.
You're going to defend it? You're going to argue it? I think I'm looking at you for every time. I know whether you're going to call me out on it or whether I can keep going.
No. You keep. You'll know when I'm going to call you out because I will just call you out and go, no, that's wrong.
Right, okay, so we're already winning on the first scene. You're accepting that this is pretty decent opening.
It definitely gives you a Halloween vibe. I will give you that.
Yes, right, okay, that's all right. It's a good start. It's a good start. And from here, we transition into the night storm as the ambulance arrives at Ridgemont Sanitarium. This is where Michael has been held for the past 10 years since the events of Halloween 2, where he burned in the hospital fire or whatever it is.
Now, I quite like this, and I'm not going to shit on this because I quite like this, and I like the creepy night Clark guy who's like, "It's evil. It's evil. Evil
He has
lives
some
here."
of the best lines in the film in this scene.
And I like that. I am going to pick up on one thing. So when they come from the ambulance through the storm and into that little lobby area,
yes,
torrential rain outside, they are both bone dry when they come in.
There's a phrase I'm going to use here now that I'm probably going to use a lot throughout this episode. Because. So anyway, as we move on, the two transfer personnel enter the sanitarium and we are introduced to a security guard who doesn't actually know a name. He's no name. I checked on IMDb.
Evil man.
Evil man. He's played by Raymond O'Connor, who I thought I'd recognize. I was like, I have seen him in so much stuff. I've checked this dude's IMDb page and he is in nothing notable. Like, he has the shittest IMDb page I've ever seen.
Of course he does. He's an H4.
Come on, man. You can't keep saying that every time.
You walked into that. You deserve that one.
So he takes the transfer personnel down to the basement, which for some strange reason, why are they keeping Myers in a basement?
I did question this because they go sort of through this high security wing, then they go down a service lift and they've got him in the basement against a bare brick wall next to a fuse board. It's like, the fuck?
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? But as they transition down through in this elevator, I'll just call him Raymond because that's his actual name. He gives one of the most awkward and strangest expositions I've ever seen. He literally breaks down every single event that's happened up until this point, and incorrectly at one point as well, might I add. He says that Dr. Loomis shot Myers 6 times. He needs to get his facts straight. At this point, Dr. Loomis has shot Myers 11 times.
Oh, yes, because he shot him more in number 2.
Yeah. So, Go on, Raymond, get your shit together. But anyway, sorry, I'm just going quite off track there. As you mentioned, he does have some of the best lines in the film, though. So one of the most notable ones is, "Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place."
Yeah, and I won't lie. I like this guy. I like this setup. This setup is it's very ram it down your throat, but I get it. It's this guy is really evil. Jesus is not here. This place is evil. Do you know you're taking evil? Did I mention the guy down here is really, really evil? He's borderline in Loomis levels.
See, that's why I like it, because this opening sets up perfectly the tone for the rest of the film. Like, if you're not on board by the madness and stupidity by this point, then you're not going to enjoy anything else that comes after it. I feel like this is a very good entrance point into the film. So if you're like, this is ridiculous, I hate this, then you're certainly not going to enjoy anything else that comes after it.
I won't lie. I do like the opening. And I know I've made this so hard for you to get this on the show. But there are some high points in Halloween 4, this being one of them.
Right, so while you're on momentum, we'll keep this going then. So we do finally get down to the basement and we are introduced to Dr. Hoffman, who, rightly so, when questioned about Dr. Loomis, he basically just brushes it off and says he should either retire or die, which is a bit harsh really on Loomis. He's an actual hero in Haddonfield. This guy's just shunning him off like he's a lunatic. I mean, he does become a lunatic, but in 1 and 2, he's pretty solid, really.
Yeah, he is. But I'm guessing in the decade that they've had Michael at the hospital, he's become a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's every day in there going, Michael Myers is evil. You have got him secure. I imagine that's a daily conversation. I'd want Loomis gone as well.
Yeah, he's persistent with it, and he's quite persistent throughout this film with his evil anecdotes as well.
Yeah,
which I'm sure I'll touch upon when we get to.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah. So after this, Myers is loaded into the ambulance, and the iconic Michael Myers Halloween Carpenter score kicks in. It's a bit different this time. Did you notice?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like this
I'm not
plinky plonky. I think plinky plonky is the best way to describe it. It's kind of like a dee 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 to it more than normal. I'm not a fan.
No, it's like quite like a fairgroundy kind of weirdness to it. I mean, this is done by Alan Howarth. He's quite a big collaborator with Carpenter. He worked on Halloween 2 with him. He worked on The Thing, and he worked with him on quite a lot. And even on Halloween 3, he collaborated and helped Carpenter do the score. But for some reason or another, after Carpenter dropped out of this, he still continued on. You would think his involvement in everything else up until this point, he would be the perfect man for the job. But for one reason or another, he seems to have just sort of fluffed it.
Yeah, I think part of that might be the fact that he didn't have Carpenter there with him. And Carpenter's got some good reasons not to be involved in this movie.
Did you know much about the original intended direction they wanted to take this in?
I know it was very, very different. And I know that when they made the decisions of where they were going, Carpenter went, no, he wanted this to become. This was going to be effectively what this movie was going to be was Halloween Kills.
He wanted Myers to be more of an entity.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
He wanted Myers to be like Jason because he realised Jason is better.
I haven't read the novelization because each film usually has a horror sort of novelization that comes out throughout. H4 novelization actually follows Carpenter's original idea. So if you want to know how that film originally would have panned out, buy the H4 novelization.
Or watch Halloween Kills.
Or watch Halloween Kills, yeah. But I did do a brief bit of research into the novelization. Do you know the end scene in this film where Myers gets bombarded with bullets?
Yeah.
That's very similar in the novelization. But what happens is Myers sort of like absorbs the bullets and almost turns into like an Ant-Man and grows to like 14 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah. I need to read the book and find out how actually this is going to play out. And what
someone needs to make that movie, is what
I would have wanted to see that film a lot. It certainly would have had a different tone to this, I'm sure. So as they're driving down the road, the transfer personnel have a conversation regarding living relatives of Myers and say that nobody's able to sort of be his carer or whatever you call it. I don't know, when you take on somebody who's comatose. Yeah. You're sort of someone who has to sign you off if you turn your life support machine off.
Yeah, his only living relative is his niece.
Is his niece, yes. So as soon as this is mentioned in the ambulance, he sort of grabs you see his hand sort of clutch the bedding.
Yeah, he's very, very grabby in this, I have to say. He's very, very, very proby with his hands in this movie.
Yeah, it's known fatality in this film. Myers immediately springs to life after hearing this and takes out the male transfer personnel by sticking his thumb through his forehead, which is cool, right?
Yeah, really cool. And the effect for that, they put a bit of prosthetics on his forehead, but it's actually the thumb. It's a prosthetic thumb. So when he pushes it in, it's the thumb that squishes and the blood comes out. It's not
like one of them fake stabby knives kind of things.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, see, I still put work in for this episode.
Good. It's nice to know you're taking part. So we didn't actually see the other personnel die in this either. We just see him, don't we? And then we sort of hear a scream and it cuts off. We don't see her get taken out.
No, we just assumed that she's dead.
Yeah, no, because I've watched this on Netflix, and like we say with the Scream 4 one, it cuts key points out sometimes. So I'm just making sure we're on the right track.
Yeah, Netflix removes plot points you may require.
Yeah, exactly. So after this, we cut to Jamie Lloyd, played by Danielle Harris, who I'm going to just say straight off the bat is absolutely phenomenal in this film.
One of the best child actors or actresses ever.
Can you name anyone better, child actor-wise, who you think has done a better job? And this doesn't include young Danny Torrance in The Shining, because I would say he was marginally better.
I would say he's better. I would probably say the only other one is Andy Barclay from Child's Play.
That's the only one I could think, unless you go down the road of sort of talking Goonies cast and all the rest.
Yeah, in fact,
in terms of horror.
I tell you where else we could go that I think is actually better, and probably better than Danny Lloyd from The Shining as well, is the girl who played Carol Ann in Poltergeist.
Confession time, I haven't seen the Poltergeist. And I love Toby Hooper as well. I'm a really big Toby Hooper fan. I don't know why I haven't seen that.
Tobe Hooper's on it in name. It's not Tobe Hooper, it's Spielberg.
I thought it was Spielberg by name, but Toby Hooper directed.
Yeah, Tobe Hooper directed. I'm guessing you need to watch it. When you watch it, you'll understand what I'm saying. It's one of those, I think Tobe Hooper was there, but that is about his involvement. I think it was more he was fetching Spielberg teas and coffees as opposed to actually doing anything.
Ah, right, okay.
It's very, very Spielberg-esque.
Right. I'll check it out. I mean, I saw like a trailer of the remake that came out recently. It looked absolutely garbage.
The remake is absolute trash. And I can review that now. Do not watch it. It's 0 out of 10. Awful.
Right. Yeah, well, I'll avoid that one. I will go back and check out the original. So we're first introduced to Danielle Harris and Rachel Carruthers, played by Ellie Cornell. I have things to say about her, but I'll touch on that as we go later on. Between the two of them, they have one of the worst character introductions I have seen done on screen. Like this opening sequence between the two of them, the dialogue that unfolds it's just so strange. The conversation they have regarding, I think, what is it they say? They say,
do you love me like a real sister? But you're not my real sister. What?
Yeah, why does she do that? She's a kid. Just say yes, I love you. And like, it was so bad, and I was like, oh, you poor thing. And that's not the first time she's this brutal to her either.
No, it is continuous throughout. She's not a very good stepsister. Yes, I'm your sister, kind of.
Yeah.
If I have to be. Yes, I love you, but no, you're not my sister. It's really
But
bad.
I don't love you like a real sister, because you're not a real sister.
Yeah.
You know. But it's also in this scene that we find out that Laurie Strode is Jamie Lloyd's mother, and she has died in a car accident 11 months prior to where we are. So this is why Jamie is now living with the Carruthers as stepdaughter kind of thing. Yeah. I think they said she mentioned she died in a car accident, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
that's what she says.
Yeah, they do. And this movie is the whole reason they had to, when they rebirthed it, they had to rebirth it ignoring this timeline.
Is this when we talk about which timeline? Because it's 1-2 H2O, or is it 1?
Yeah.
It's happened multiple times.
Yeah, it's happened multiple times. But this movie is kind of, as soon as they killed Jamie Lee Curtis or they killed Laurie Strode, every timeline after that wanted to include her had to ignore H4, had to branch off. They left themselves nowhere to go with that.
No. And it's a strange decision to kill such a pivotal character off like that off screen.
You can easily say she's in a mental asylum and leave the door open.
Yeah, you did exactly. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Yeah. There was no Nancy in that, and they perfectly did away with the reason why she wasn't back in it without having to kill the character, because she didn't want to return for the film. So it was a really poor writing choice in this film.
Yeah.
And it affected the franchise massively from this point on. But this next scene is quite confusing for me, because it's Jamie goes to bed. She has a little prayer by the window. She sees the ambulance outside. She goes to the closet, shuts the closet door, and then she gets grabbed from under the bed by Myers.
Yeah. See, I get this. She's having nightmares, effectively waking nightmares, and I get it. What doesn't work for me is they show Myers. They should have just left him as a shadow. Because she has, so. As a
they
child,
should have stuck with the idea and the concept of him being the shape.
Yeah, because she's got no idea what Myers looks like. I'm pretty sure that's my saying that her sister is an arsehole. Maybe her sister told her.
Yeah, and she does get bullied at school for her uncle being the boogeyman, so maybe that explains how she would know what he looks like. So you're thinking maybe these are like night terror kind of things, and she's dreaming in this moment.
Yeah, I think so.
Because she starts screaming, she runs to the bedroom door, she opens the bedroom door, and there is Myers stood at the door again.
Yeah.
In comes Mother Carruthers and Rachel to find her hiding, crying in the closet. We cut to the next morning, and Rachel is grumbling about having to stay and babysit Jamie because her parents are going out. And she has this big speech about how this is a first date, bear in mind. This is her first date with Brady. This isn't like they're in a relationship and it's all going to be put on the line if she doesn't go to this Halloween party with him. This is her first date, and she's talking about marriage, babies, and how this is going to ruin the rest of her life. If I was stood outside that window and I was Brady, there would be no first date. Jamie overhears this conversation, and my heart breaks in this scene where she turns around and says, "Oh, I wish I wasn't here, because if I wasn't here, you could go out. I ruin everything," kind of thing. And oh, bless her. Like, she's a poor little foster kid. This is just brutal, is it not?
Yeah. She's got very much Andy Barclay hard done by vibes. It's all my fault. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, she does. But after this scene, we get to Dr. Lewis, who goes to see Hoffman and questions why he's not notified about the Myers transfer. He basically explains to him that it's exactly 10 years to the day since the nights of the events in Haddonfield.
I love how he does it as well. Do you know what day it is? And the bloke sat with a calendar in front of him, and he if you watch the scene, he glances at the calendar and looks back at Loomis, and Loomis has gone, "You do know what day it is." So good. It's really subtly directed, but he does like literally go and looks back up and says, "Yeah, I know. I just checked the date. I don't know what day it is."
Yeah, they're powerhouse actors, these two. We get the first sort of insight to Dr. Loomis's mentality throughout this film, where he starts rambling on again about how evil Michael Myers is, and he should never have been moved. To which point the phone rings coincidentally, and before the phone's even answered, Loomis knows exactly what it is and what's going on.
Yeah, before it's answered, Loomis has the smuggest look on his face ever, as if say, "I told you so," before he knows what's happened.
Yeah, so before Dr. Hoffman even has a chance to put down the phone and tell him that there's been an accident, he literally darts out of the room. But yet, coincidentally, in the next scene, they both arrive together at the wreckage from the ambulance.
Yeah, so that he leaves, and then I'm guessing Hoffman follows him, and they get Yeah, they go together to the wreckage.
They do. So they arrive.
The wreckage, I've got to say, the commitment from Loomis to just so the ambulance is upturned in kind of like a boggy water marsh thing. And Loomis does not even pause, and he just wades into the water and swings open the back door.
Yeah, he's pretty committed, isn't he, to tracking down Myers? I mean, they have the conversation with the medical examiner, and he says, "How many bodies have you found?" And he's like, "Well, it's hard to sell. They're all mangled." So Loomis just goes for a little paddle, looks into the back of the ambulance, and I mean, it's just pure carnage. And he's adamant that Dr. Loomis, he's adamant Myers has escaped from this point on. So he gets out of the water, he goes to see Hoffman. And Hoffman says one of the most sensible things I've said at this point in this film. And he says he's been in a coma for 10 years. Even if he did survive the crash, his muscles would not work. He would be lifeless.
Yeah. And to be fair to Loomis, he explains this in a way that only Loomis can. Do you not know? He's evil. He is not a man. He's evil. I won't lie. The Loomis rhetoric in this gets on my tits so bad.
I know, but it's Donald Pleasance, and he delivers it in such a way that it's hard not to love him for it.
Yeah, he delivers it great, and Pleasance was a fantastic actor. I can't take that away. But this is written in such a way that it's like, we've got Donald Pleasance in this scene. What should we make him say? I know, evil. Get him to say evil at least 5 times. It's too much for me. Loomis in this is what turns me off a lot of the movie, because it's just every word is evil, and it just.
I get that. I do get that. I mean, he's such a well-established and well-developed character throughout part 1 and 2, and when we get to this point, it's nowhere near as drastic as a change as it is in part 5, but it's almost venturing in that direction. It's very silly, and you've got to think at this point in the franchise, Pleasance is probably just cashing in, really. He's got to be the highest paid person on this film. It's a case of show up. You only need to be here for 2 days because you're not really interconnecting with anybody.
Show up, say evil 50 times, and you can leave. There's your check.
Put some weird fake burn scars on your face, and then.
Yeah, what was up with the burn scars? Because they weren't great.
They changed quite drastically throughout the film as well. The first one you see when he has his first interaction with Hoffman in the sanitarium at Ridgemont, it's very heavy down one side of his face. Yeah. And his wife at the time, or whether his wife throughout, I don't know how many times he was or wasn't married, she comes on set one day and takes the mick out of him and says, "You've got a fried egg on the side of your face," at which point the makeup department had to tone it right down. So you gradually see it getting better and better throughout the film.
So he's healing.
He's almost healing.
He's Wolverine.
Now, that's a film I would like to see. So you see it sort of slowly getting better as you get through the film. So after the crash site, Loomis hops back in the car and he's on his way to Haddonfield, obviously, but throughout this he has to stop and fuel up, and he stops at a service station to find everybody at the service station is massacred.
Yeah, and Michael's got his boiler suit from the mechanic, which is
an 18 ripoff. I say it's an 18 ripoff. You've got to assume Halloween 18 ripped this scene clean off.
Yeah, it's a carbon copy in Halloween 18 for this scene. Myers kills the guy, or kills everyone in the service station. He picks up the jumpsuit, and he's halfway back to being proper Myers. He's like 50% there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like in H18, they don't even try and nod to it. They literally copy it scene for scene. You see none of the death scenes of the mechanics or anything like that. You just see, in this one, it's Loomis uncovering it, but in H18, it's the podcaster who uncovers it. Yeah. And it unfolds almost identically. We get the first sort of standoff between Myers and Loomis, which I quite like. I like that they're doing this early on in the film rather than waiting for the penultimate moments to sort of introduce the two characters meeting.
And I love the mask. I love the bandage wrap mask.
You know how much I love this bandage mask. I wish they'd kept this. It's one of my biggest gripes in the film. I can justify the mask, and I'm sure I will have to justify the mask when we get to it. But at this point, I really like the bandage mask, and it's not. I think there's a pivotal point in the film where he should have acquired his Myers mask, and I'll get to it. And it's not how it does play out, but it's how it should have played out. I would have liked him to keep this for a lot longer than he did.
Yeah, I agree.
Really, really cool.
I agree. And I like this standoff scene. The only thing I don't like is Loomis has got a straight shot at him, and when he shoots him, he misses by not a little bit, by miles every time.
Yeah, he's been taking shooting lessons from Dewey, hasn't he? From screen.
Yeah, 100%.
He basically begs Myers not to go back to Haddonfield, offers himself as a sacrifice and says, look, you've put these people through enough, take me instead.
Yeah.
Which is quite noble of him. He just...
It is. And Myers, without speaking a word, basically says, fuck you, as he just strolls away and then jumps in a car and bursts out of the gas station, causing it to explode.
This is the most action scene sequence I think this franchise has ever seen. You even get Loomer's barrel rolling out of the way of flaming cans. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I don't know. You can understand why I love this film. Like, I know it's not great, but it is so entertaining to watch.
This bit here was like they were following quite a dark tone, and then all of a sudden it's like Jerry Bruckheimer has chimed in. Oh, let me do this scene. I got an idea.
Yeah, Michael Bay just walked past set one day.
He did, and like literally, the garage explodes, but also it causes a fire that goes up the telephone pole that knocks out all the telephone cables as well. So Loomis can't then call anyone to say that Myers has gone ahead.
No, and I'm asking to assume that this is quite close to town because later on, when he gets to the sheriff's department, they also say that the phone lines are down. So we cut back to Haddonfield. Jamie's being bullied at school by these really, really mean kids. Now, our kids this mean? Your kids are a lot older than mine. Mine's just 2. So
yeah, kids are.
This is brutal though, man. There's no way they're this nasty.
Yeah, they really are.
Are they really?
Yeah, they really, really are. Kids are
My
really,
daughter's
really
an angel. She might have to get homeschooled.
The thing is, I think everyone would argue that their kids are really nice, but I'm under no illusions. Kids are nasty. The things they will say to each other is just like the things you wouldn't dream of saying to someone.
I'm really sorry. I'm trying to be as quiet as I can, but opening this can of beers is literally making the most noise ever.
I was going to say, why don't you just start up a generator instead? That'd be quieter.
Apologies. So Jamie comes out of school crying. She's picked up by Rachel and who is her name? Lindsay. They take her to the trick-or-treating shop where we are introduced to Brady, Wade, and Tommy, and they're all placing bets on Wade asking out Kelly, who works behind the till.
Yeah.
To which we get the fuck off Wade line, which I really, really like. It's also at this point that we learn that she's the sheriff's daughter, Sheriff Mika, who is a new sheriff in town. Rachel has a conversation with Brady and explains to him that she can't go out this evening because she has to babysit Jamie, which is why Jamie ends up then sort of going off on her own to pick a costume while they have their lover's tiff, if you will. Strangely, she's automatically drawn into the clown costume.
This is bullshit, is what this is. She picks the clown costume that Myers wore 30 years prior. So you're telling me they're still selling the same costume? Fuck off. They're not. I'm sorry.
Well, no, hers is red and white. Myers in the original, I believe, was yellow, blue with a bit of red.
Yeah, okay, it's slightly different, but they're selling a variant. I don't buy it. And why would she pick that out of all the costumes? And then all of a sudden, Myers is there. Fuck off. This is so.
I mean, it's just a standard clown costume, isn't it? I mean, what more do you want? It's just a jester's clown costume.
This whole scene is where I've gone. No, I'm done. It's so shit. It's so coincidental that it's just lazy to the point where they've gone, oh, let's just lump it all in. I know how we can tie it all together right here. I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
I do get that. And there is a lot of issues with this scene that I can't justify. I feel like what they tried to do really was they tried to sort of call back to what they did in the original when Myers broke into the hardware store to get his mask and his knife and all his kit from the first one. I feel like they were trying to sort of recreate that scene a little bit here.
What is Myers' so you're a bigger Halloween fan than I am. What is Myers' obsession with that mask? I'm not being funny. He had an entire costume shops of masks he could choose. Why didn't he go with like a grizzly bear mask or a lizard mask? Because that would have been brilliant if he just put on a random mask.
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know. I think obviously in terms of the psyche behind it all, obviously Rob Zombie dives into that a lot more and does a pretty good job of explaining why he wears the masks and the masks he does. The first film, I think it was just purely coincidental. I don't think there was any logic or reason behind him picking the shape mask. I think he just broke into the hardware store. That was the one he got.
Do you think he's a Star Trek fan?
If he was, I'd have rather gone for a Spock mask than a Captain Kirk, if I'm honest.
They could have had so much more fun with this here.
Yeah.
And I get it.
So
he picks up the Myers mask, and I get it. He's got a new mask. That's why it looks bright white. You don't need to justify that. I understand it. but they had so many more options of what they could have done. They could have had like a trying on mask scene where he put on one and went, no, don't like that one. Put on another one, no, don't like that one. They could have done that.
There is actually a scene of him doing that. I don't know if it was actually filmed or not, but there was a scene in which he picked a Nixon mask. Oh, is it a Ronald Reagan mask?
Nixon mask, yeah. So there's a scene, I think you can still find it, where he puts on a Nixon mask, or you see him pick it up, and then you see him throw it in a bin before he picks up the Myers mask. They should have kept that in.
What's your actual thoughts on this new Myers mask?
It's okay. I accept it. I no issues with this mask whatsoever. It doesn't look great, but it's a brand new mask that's not been weathered by 2 movies of battle, blood, and dirt. So yeah, it's fine.
It takes a lot of stick, really, does this mask throughout the franchise, and it's different. And I mean, the way I always sort of perceived it and justified it when I watched through these films is you have H1 and H2 in which that's the same mask. I know they look slightly different in variation, but the reason why they look slightly different is you have the Halloween 1 mask in which they actually filmed, the Halloween 2 mask. I heard you open your beer, so I'm going to do the same. The Halloween 2 mask it's the same mask from Halloween 1, and Deborah Hill, who co-wrote Halloween and produced and all the rest of it with John Carpenter, she got to keep the mask after the first Halloween film, and that sat in her house for, I think it was 3 or 4 years. She was a really, really heavy smoker, which is why it looks so yellowed in Halloween 2. She had it on a shelf in her house, and she just used to smoke around it and all the rest of it. And obviously, Dick Warlock, who portrayed Myers in Part 2, had a different shaped head, which is why it looks different on it as it did to Nick Castle.
I've got no issue. I've got an issue with the mask when we get to the school.
Yeah, okay. We'll leave that till we get to the school. But yeah, I like the mask. I don't have any issue with it either. To me, it feels justifiable based on the fact that it's not the same mask. You see him picking it up, and we've seen knockoff masks and stuff. You've seen, and as you say, if he has a particular connection with this mask, if that's the closest resembling one, there's a reason why he's going to pick it up.
Yeah. He shopped in a cheaper shop. He got a cheaper mask.
Exactly. This is a power shop mask, and that's why. Yeah, exactly. We see Myers appear here when Jamie's trying on her outfit in the mirror behind her. I don't get why he doesn't just kill her here. I mean, I know it wouldn't make much of a film, but it's just a case of, hey, you, coincidence, we're in the same shop. I guess I'll see you tonight. And then... Yeah,
I really didn't like it. I just thought, the whole bit, I was like, this is shit.
Why they chose to include it, I don't know.
No,
it would have been much better to have the 2 scenes separate. And come in.
The thing is, though, if you delve into, the more you delve into it, the worse it gets. This is quite a busy shop. I'm guessing there's only that main entrance in and out. How did he walk in? How did he get to the back with no one seeing him? How did he hide when they come and rescued her after she had her little crying meltdown? How did he get out? It's just so lazy. It's so piss poor.
It is. And I'm not even going to try and defend it on the writing side of things, because this is quite piss poor in terms of writing. However, before you start getting too much credibility, I'm going to move on. So after this, we cut to the hitchhiking scene with Loomis, who is dusted by a group of cheerleaders before being picked up by Father Sayer. I love Father Sayer. I think he's great.
He is spectacular.
Yeah, they have a weird, strange conversation regarding the end of the world and chasing the apocalypse. And obviously, it's quite sort of suggestive that Myers is the apocalypse that Loomis is chasing and all the rest of it. He's one of my favorite characters in this film, I think. I wish he had more screen time.
Yeah, I do. I could do a road trip film with just him and Loomis.
That would be epic. Imagine the two of them like a Scooby-Doo film where they're hunting down iconic serial killers.
Iconic serial killers in Vegas, because I want the after party Vegas bits as well.
I like him though. He's the only man who I've seen on screen make Donald Pleasance actually smile.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I really like this scene. This is the right level of goofy for this. Just give me 2 crazy old guys drinking whiskey in a broken down van that looks like it's from.
Yeah. We just want mindless entertainment surrounding characters we know and love. That's all we want. So anyway, so we now are on Halloween night, and Jamie and Rachel are out trick-or-treating, which gives Myers the perfect opportunity to go sniffing around the Carruthers' house. He finds the shoebox, which Jamie has been kept in the closet, which has photos of Laurie and her as a child and stuff like that. This is really strange to me because there is a photo of a young Michael Myers in here as well.
Yes, there is, and I don't get it.
This brings me back round to the writing department and what the fuck they were thinking. Like, this makes little to no sense why she would have this photo or why anybody would have this photo.
This is the writing department trying to justify a narrative that isn't here.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, audience. I know I said I would try and maintain credibility. Like, I will say it as I see it, and these things do make little to no sense. It doesn't deflect the fact the way that I do love this film quite a lot. So after this, we get to the station and we meet the new Sheriff Mika. He explains that Brackett retired in 81, which was quite a cool nod because that was the last time he was seen on screen. Halloween 2 came out in 1981, which is why they say he retired, because obviously that was the last time he was seen on screen. Loomis tells the officers that Myers has escaped and he's coming back home, and they don't believe him, do they? They don't really, they're sort of humouring him as if to sort of say...
Yeah, again, though, I really like this. So Loomis goes in and has a rant. He basically repeats he's evil rant, and he's here in this town, and you need to do something. And the sheriff's like, oh, do you know what? Fuck off. No, you're full of shit. You're a crazy old man. And then you see where he has a moment where he goes, oh, do you know what? I'm going to humour him, because if he's wrong, I get to mock him for being a crazy old man. But if he's right, I could be a hero.
I also like how dismissive Mika is as well. As soon as he introduced, like, Loomis barges in as if to explain himself, like, I'm Dr. Loomis. And Mika's like, we know who you are, man. You don't need to give us your name. We don't forget faces around here. Coincidentally, Rachel and Jamie now go trick-or-treating, and they are at the Mika's house. This is where they knock on the door, and the very beautiful Kelly Mika comes out with her Cops Do It by the Book t-shirt, and Brady comes down the stairs behind her.
Yeah, this is where we find out that she's a slut.
Yeah, but she's very pretty.
Yeah, I'm not slut shaming.
No, we don't do that on this show.
No. If you want to be a slut, then I'm more than happy for you to be a slut.
You're more than happy for people to be sluts.
Yeah.
That should be our slogan.
Instead of you run the show, you be a slut.
Oh, brilliant. So Brady and Rachel start arguing, at which point Jamie follows the rest of the children, and they sort of separate.
Again, I hated this.
I thought this made sense to me.
The whole scene, as soon as they walked up to the house and she opened the door and then Brady appeared, straight away I went, well, this is done just so she can lose her sister.
Yeah, but it makes sense though, doesn't it, narratively? I know it feels very lazy, but
it's very lazy. It works, but
this whole film's very fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Before we continue down this path, we get a cutscene which takes us to the bar and we meet Elle and the boys. How do we feel about Elle and the boys?
Evil dies tonight.
This is literally the new trilogy. This is why I love this film. David Gordon Green has built his entire trilogy around Halloween 4.
He's done it better.
I don't know if he has at this point. We'll save that until Halloween ends to see if he can round it up. At this point, it's still up for debate.
But this bar scene is literally a carbon copy, minus the speech from Tommy of that bar scene in Halloween Kills, where they go, let's go get Myers. And they round up a posse and then they're off into the town. I like this. I think it's good.
Yeah, I just find it strange that the way that the phone rang for like 2 seconds and all of a sudden there's now a lynch mob because the police didn't answer straight away.
I'm guessing it's a small town that's got 4 or 5 police. I'm guessing a huge amount doesn't happen there.
No, I can't imagine it does.
They normally answer the phone like as it rings. Hello?
Well, they just say that they've got, because I think it's Mika's called a curfew, hasn't he? He's called a curfew, and Earl is basically like, I'm not shutting down my bar without a good reason, which is why he tries to call the police. There's no answer at the station, to which point he's like, him and the boys go to check out what's going on at the police station.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Mika and Loomis go to the Carruthers house, and this is where they find that Myers is back, based on the fact that he has killed another dog.
Why does he do this?
I don't know why he kills dogs, to be honest with you. Obviously, he's entering a property, yeah. My dog is insane. Like, she's not a violent dog, but if you come in my house, she will howl the street down to let you know, like, she wants to be your friend.
Yeah, I don't get it. He kills way too many dogs for my liking.
Well, at this point, he's only killed 2.
Moving through the franchise, he does kill more.
Yeah, it sort of becomes synonymous with his character.
Yeah, he needs to leave dogs alone.
He does need to leave dogs alone. I like dogs. I don't like to see dogs die on the street. Anyway, we get to the power pint scene and we meet Bucky. I like Bucky. I don't feel like his job justifies him having a name tag, though.
I'm sorry. You stay right there and don't you even think about moving, because I'm going to call the police.
Who says that to a man in a mask? In pitch black?
Who says that to anyone?
No, this is very true. This is weird. This is weird, right? This is where we first see Myers in his
teleport.
No, doesn't teleport. He's just very fast.
Fucking really fast. He got from the town to the power station, which I'm guessing is outside of town, in minutes. Either that or he drove. Has he hotwired a car again? He's gone. Is Michael Myers just an early version of GTA?
That would be awesome. I would like to see a GTA game with Myers. I'd like to see any game as Myers. We've got the Friday games and stuff, right? And we've got Ash games now. Why can't we have an Michael Myers game?
He's in Dead by Daylight. You can play him in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, but everyone's in Dead by Daylight, aren't they?
Yeah,
I'd
true.
like to see an actual like Myers-based game, like the Friday one. That would be quite cool. We see Myers in his full getup at this point, and he has shoulder pads on, which is fucking annoying. And I don't know why he has this.
I was going to leave the shoulder pads. I thought it wasn't even worth me bringing it up. This movie's so bad without highlighting the fact that Myers loses a neck and gains a neck scene by scene.
He does. He looks like he's got no neck and he's hunched, and he doesn't have it consistently throughout the film. And this was a decision made by George P. Wilbert, who plays Myers. I mean, this guy is 6'2" anyway. He didn't feel like he was hunched enough, so they decided to put hockey pads underneath his things, as well as wearing lifts on his boots to make him even bigger. But it doesn't. If anything, it makes him look smaller, if that makes sense. It's weird.
Yeah, it makes him look sort of stocky more than tall and big.
It really, the whole perspective of the way they built him looks really, really strange. But he chucks Bucky into the power lines, which is what cuts out the power to the town. With no power to the town, all the parents out of nowhere come flocking into the streets to pick up all their kids.
Yeah.
Within seconds, by the way, clearing the streets, making everything feel very desolate. I mean, it does feel very desolate, and the set design and the way it's filmed is it feels very stark and bare. It was so rapidly done. It felt very jarring. If you're not paying full attention, which to a film like this you're probably not going to anyway, if you miss that 2-second scene, which involves the parents picking up the kids, it's really jarring to quickly transition into this moment. So Rachel and Jamie are now separated. The kids are all gone. Rachel's looking for Jamie, and this is where she bumps into Myers.
Yeah, and this is where Rachel proves that she does not know her way around her own little 2-road town.
Yeah, Haddon feels very small the way that this film makes it out to be.
How many times did she get lost?
Immediately around every corner. She has no idea where she is, but she makes some smart decisions, which is why I really, really like her and rate her highly as the final girl. She sees Myers and she's immediately like, yeah, fuck this shit. And she bails, jumping over fences, giving no consideration to poor 6-year-old little Jamie out in the darkness on her own, and bails to sunlight. And coincidentally, they both run into each other as they make it out from in the darkness. And strangely enough, Loomis and Mika also turn up at the same time.
Yeah.
This, for me now, is one of the best scenes in this film. And it's the most genuine Halloween film feeling scene. I say that like this is obviously a Halloween film, but the way that this feels more in keeping with Halloween 1 and 2 than any other single scene in this film. This is where we meet Myers pops out behind a bush, and Loomis and Mika are stood there around the police car. And then all of a sudden, another Myers pops up from behind a bush. And then another Myers pops up behind a bush, to which Loomis pulls out his gun to take one of them out before one of the guys finally pulls off his mask as if to say, whoa, old man, it's just a prank. Loomis's face in this scene, it's obviously like a nod to what happened in Halloween 2, where he killed Ben Tramer, who blew up as he got hit by a car due to Loomis chasing him manically through the streets. But the look on Loomis's face and the acting from Pleasance in this scene was really, really, really good.
Yeah, it was really good. I didn't necessarily like the scene, but Loomis is good.
See, I have to disagree. I thought this was really, really good. And this is the point where I would have liked to see an extra kill. And I feel like it was an opportunity missed by the writers. I think we should have seen a bandage Myers all the way up until this point. We see this scene unfold where the lads are pulling the pranks on.
And this is where Myers kills one of them and takes their mask. Yeah, I agree.
Myers takes one out, gets his mask, and this is why he gets back his Myers mask.
Much better.
That would have been perfect. And then we could have lost all that stupidity within the hardware store. I say hardware store because that's what it is in the first, the fancy dress shop up until this point.
Yeah, I agree. That definitely would have made it better. I would have taken away a good 10 minutes of my moaning earlier.
Exactly. Everyone's happy. After this, they go back to the station, and this is where they find out that Myers has single-handedly wiped out an entire police station.
So did he do this?
Loomis's only explanation is, of course,
he's evil. But did Myers do this before he teleported to the power station or after?
Anyway, so when leaving, Elle and the boys turn up at the police station. This is where we have. I have no answers for you at this point, man. I'm just going to move on swiftly. Elle and the boys turn up at the police station, and Mika is trying to defuse the situation. He's like, "Look, lads, calm down. Get yourself home. We've got this under control." And good old Mad Eye Loomis steps in and rallies up an absolute storm.
I like this as well. He's like, well, he's telling you to go home. Did he mention that it's Michael Myers? And then kind of steps back. And then Mika's like, why did you do that for? It's like, well, at the moment, you've got no police department. This is pretty much all you've got. So take what's on fucking offer.
Yeah, I wouldn't have taken what's on offer, as we're about to find out. Myers is now laid down in the back of a police car. We get Deputy Logan. He comes into his back in his car, and do you know what's more annoying about this scene than anything else? Mika radios through and explains to him that they're all going to go hunker down at the Mika's house until we find out what's going on. Everyone's been wiped out of the police station. Logan reverses his car off a drive, and in doing so, it shows you on film the same way you would when you're driving. You put your arm over your passenger door, and you'd look your head back, and you follow, instead of looking in your rearview mirror, you follow through your rear windscreen as you're reversing away.
Yeah, Myers is laid down on his back seat and he didn't see him.
He's got a 6'2" bloke in platform shoes and hockey pads laid on the back seat. This is the worst police officer in the world. How was he ranked up to deputy?
Maybe he went to the same deputy school as Dewey.
I think he must have done. But anyway, Logan drives Myers straight into the Meeks' house, and this is where we are all hunkered down with Brady, Kelly, Loomis, Mika, Sheriff Mika, that is, Rachel and Jamie. Elle and the boys are out causing chaos in the streets of Haddonfield. This is so weird. They drive past a rustling bush, to which one of the boys in the van says, "There's Myers." They jump out and they unload absolute fury on this bush without knowing what's behind it, killing poor old Ted Hollister in the process.
Yeah, and then not actually giving a fuck. Oh, it was Ted. Oh, shit. Let's get back in the van.
They're just literally like, "Oh, you idiot, you said you'd saw Myers. It's poor old Ted." And then they just get off and carry on about the day. Surely Ted's got a wife and a family. Like, you guys have no remorse for what you've just done. They're just continuing about with their lynch mob. These are dangerous, dangerous men to be having
How
on the street.
dare there be a dangerous killer in our street? Oh, we just killed Ted. Oh,
yeah.
Poor Ted. Never mind. Anyway, let's get back to finding the killer.
Never mind finding the killer. Let's get back to the Mika's house. So Mika, he sends Brady to the loft to secure the place, and things just start to fall apart a bit weirdly here in the Mika house.
I'm going to let you take it because I don't need to pull this apart. You're going to do it just by running through it.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. I'm literally going to tell it how it is, and it feels like I'm crushing on it, and I'm really trying not to.
So just take into consideration, this is Mark trying not to slam this film. Okay, Mark, do you want to talk us through what happens next?
I feel like I've been trying not to slam this film since we started, but I feel like I'm doing a really good job of defending you at this point.
You are. It's great.
Everybody's inside the Mika's house. Mika sends Brady to the loft to secure the place. He gives him a shotgun, basically says to him, "If I catch you fondling my daughter, I'll use that shotgun on you," which was very badass from Sheriff Mika. Oh, God, how do I do this without making it sound so very, very bad? He gives a talk to everybody and basically says that the place is locked down and the only way in and out is through the front door. We get this strange sort of unnecessary POV camera shot, which sort of insinuates that Myers is already inside the house as he hides around the corner. We have Loomis and Rachel trying to fiddle about with the radio before Loomis strangely just goes up and goes, even though he's been to the Carruthers' house already, he turns around to everyone who's like, "I'm going back to Jamie's house because this is the first place Myers was go." And it's like, yeah, but he's already been to Myers' house at this point and he wasn't there. He's already been, he's killed the dog. Why would he then go back there again? You don't need to leave, Loomis. Just stay where you are and wait. So he goes. We get a call on the radio, which basically explains that Elle and the boys are causing chaos and killed Ted Hollister, at which point then Mika then leaves, Sheriff Mika that is, he goes to find Elle and the boys before anybody else gets damaged, which then only leaves Logan, Brady, Kelly, Rachel and Jamie in the house.
Yeah.
Like the weakest people within the town.
Yeah, so anyone who had any chance of fighting off Myers is now gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kelly has the weird little bitchy talk with Rachel regarding stealing Brady, and she was like, Yeah,
do you know?
I came out on top. So
This line that she hits her with is so mean. This is not the last time someone's going to steal your man. Get over it.
Yeah, pretty much. Basically, it's like an alpha male thing. Kelly makes coffee for everybody. She takes it out to Logan, who you assume is sat in the rocking chair. She puts the coffee down on the side and she lights a candle, which reveals Deputy Logan sort of bent double in a closet, which was quite cool. I like this because this was sort of like a throwback to Myers setting up his sort of traps, not necessarily traps, but he has a way of planting bodies to jump out and scare people. Something at this point they haven't really triggered upon. So that was cool that they did that. From this point, Myers stands up out of the rocking chair. This was a cool scene, was it not?
Yeah.
I'm pulling this apart, but this was quite, that was cool. I saw him just stand up out there. And he pierces Kelly to the wall with the shotgun.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad he didn't fire, I'll be honest.
I wish he had fired, but not deliberately. What I would have liked is if he'd like picked the gun up, pushed her back with it, and then like you see his finger touch the trigger, and then he dropped it like in a, oh fuck, what did I do?
Oh, I like blew her back out or something like that.
That would have been brilliant, but it was an accident. That it wasn't intentional. That I think that would have been cool, and I'd love to see any slasher do that, where it's an accidental. Oh fuck! I just shot someone. I didn't mean to do that. Where's my knife?
Yeah, but he did that in Halloween Kills. He kicks the door. One of those badass scenes in that film.
Exactly.
John Wickser. At this point, Rachel comes flying through. She finds the body and screams, alerting everybody in the house that Myers is here. Brady comes running down the stairs. And Brady's a proper dick at this point. He's like, she's just a kid. Jamie's not going to be able to defend herself. She's already dead. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Convinces, but Rachel has no hesitation in running away with him immediately as he tried to blow the door open to get out.
This is what happens when you're nasty to people. People won't worry about coming back to try and save you.
Jamie then appears at the top of the stairs. Everybody runs up the stairs, and Myers is at the bottom of the stairs. Him and Brady have this sort of run to each other on the landing.
Brady needs to learn how to use a gun.
Yeah, this is another scene that I feel like they stole from that Kills stole. Kills with the
Kills done it better.
Yeah, fucking phenomenally better. That is one of the best scenes in that film where he kills what's her name? His name, Thingy's boyfriend, who gets his neck through the staircase.
Yeah, I know.
He just snaps it on the way down.
Yeah, and where he's bashing him through all the
spindles and stuff.
Yeah, all the spindles and the stairs, and then as he walks down the stairs, he kind of maliciously just snaps his neck because he can.
Yeah, that was so great. Cool.
So this, cool. They kind of have like a dodgy tussle where he should have shot him about 20 times, and then he kills him. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, so when he was bigging himself up when Mika asked him if he knew how to fire a shotgun, his answer should have been, no, I've never shot a gun in my life.
Can you show me, please? Where do I point? Where do I push? Thank you.
If he'd have had that conversation, we would have probably ended this film here.
This would have been the final scene, which would have saved me fucking all the pain I'm about to go through in the next bit.
Man, things get great from this point on. Brady, he doesn't do well against his one-on-one with Myers, and Myers gets grabby and basically sticks his thumb through his cheek and then snaps his neck.
Yeah.
Rachel and Jamie run off into the loft, and they quite cleverly, again from Rachel, this is why she's such a phenomenal final girl. She decides to then grab all the stuff from the loft and start throwing it down the stairs to sort of slow him down and trip him up as he's coming up the staircase. Obviously, it doesn't do a great job because Myers just sort of wades his way through. And when he finally gets to the top of the stairs, Myers finds a kitchen knife of all places.
Yeah.
At this point on, he hasn't had his iconic synonymous kitchen knife that he has throughout every other film.
Who keeps their kitchen knives there?
This is my point exactly. Of all the places for him to find it, he finds a kitchen knife in a cardboard box in a loft.
Yeah, well,
I don't actually know who wrote this film. I don't know who the writer was for this.
I don't know. Maybe the same person who wrote Seed of Chucky and Sharknado.
Most probably. No, Don Mancini did Seed of Chucky, and I'd like to try and defend that guy, but he makes it really hard for himself. Anyway, we'll come more on the Child's Play franchise later. So Rachel and Jamie escape through the roof for Myers only to follow them. I don't know. This is very illogical. Rachel lowers Jamie down with a coax TV cable. I mean, I work in the construction trade, so do you. These cables would not be able to withstand the weight of a 6-year-old girl, regardless.
I think the cable would be all right, if I'm being honest.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think for a 6-year-old it would be fine. I didn't have
defending
an issue
this film? Are you defending Halloween 4?
I've defended this one point.
Have the tables turned?
No, they haven't. Yeah, no, for that bit, I'm okay with that. It's what
You're
comes
okay with
next I'm not okay with.
Okay, so Jamie is now been lowered down to safety, and Myers takes a slash at Rachel, causing her to fall off the roof.
Yes, and then Michael Myers...
She would be shattered into a million pieces.
She would, but then Michael Myers reveals his superpower as he teleports to the ground. I watched this scene twice, and on the second time, I thought, do you know what? I want to see how long it took him to get down from the roof. It's 17 seconds. It took him 17 seconds to get from the roof to the floor and be stood there 10 foot away from them.
What's his journey from that? So he's got to run back up the roof, in through the window, down through all the carnage that Rachel's caused on the staircase, through the big windy flight of stairs. I mean, this is a 3-story house.
Yeah.
Through a big windy staircase, past Brady, down through the metal door, which couldn't open due to shotgun damage, and being the only entrance in and out of the house.
Yeah.
And he ended up in the garden in 17 seconds.
Or he's got two other options. One, he teleported, or two, and I quite like this one, he done like a Marvel-style superhero jump to the floor and landed in a superhero pose.
Can you imagine if he just jumped down and landed like Captain America? That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, with his knife like out at the side.
And then the Avengers theme started playing. Ding, 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 ding.
Do you know, I would be 100% in to see that more than what I watched.
Well, at this point, after the marvelous landing from Myers onto the garden, Jamie flees, Myers quickly in tow, and they run into Loomis. And strangely enough, Loomis decides to take Jamie to the schoolhouse. I mean, I've just got to assume at this point he's using her as bait.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he breaks into the school and he sets off this wild alarm, which alerts not only Myers, but Elle and the boys and everybody else who was within a sort of 5-mile radius that this is where they are. Again,
I do have one question.
It's going to kill me to say this, but Myers is already there before they get there.
By teleportation. But before we get there, I've got one other problem.
What?
So this is a burglar alarm he triggers when he goes in.
Yeah.
There is no power in Haddonfield.
Anyway, so Myers is already there.
But Myers has had a costume change as well. Not only is he
Myers has had a costume change, yes.
He has become the real Slim Shady.
Do you know what the actual reasoning behind this is? The
bad writing and shit prop department.
No, this is due to because this is the most. If you actually pause it and you see this scene, the mask actually looks like one of the originals. Did you notice it? I can't imagine you paid it that much attention. It's the same mask.
It's the glaring blonde hair instead.
It's the exact same mask from the first one. It looks exactly identical because it was made by a company who do replica masks at the time. They were doing these sort of.
They ran out of replica hair.
What they'd done was they'd sent the masks, but they sent them all through to them as pre-molding. So they'd come out of the mold and there was just the pink latex with the blonde wig. Basically, the company was supposed to just dye the hair and spray the face, but for one reason or another, the production company thought that it was more hassle to have to spray these authentic-looking masks. Basically, what I'm trying to get to is this film was filmed completely out of sequence. This was like one of the first scenes that they filmed, and they used one of the masks that were sent through from the replica company before the production company decided that they needed to dye the hair on it, which they dyed themselves, and then they bleached all the face and stuff on the skin mask. And this is the same mask. It's just completely trashed by the costume department and painting stupid eyebrows on it. And they bleached and dyed the hair that much that it basically made Myers look like he had an afro.
It's so bad.
It's strange. Yeah, it's strange. It's strange. I mean,
this is the equivalent for me of getting Jason Voorhees doing lots of kills in a town or in Camp Crystal Lake, and then he goes to another location, and all of a sudden he's replaced his hockey mask with his sack mask again, and then goes straight back to his hockey mask, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's fine." It's that level of change. It's that glaringly like, I'm blonde now.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, man. It's wild.
Bizarre.
I mean, luckily enough, it's a blink and you miss it kind of moment. But
yeah,
when you see it, you can never not unsee it. Myers in his blonde wig takes out Loomis, throws him through a door. Fuck's sake. This is starting to become a bit of an effort for me as well, mate. I'm going to be honest. Rachel turns up and she dispatches Myers with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, and not with hitting him with it, by turning it on and spraying him.
By spraying him and the area he is in automatically cripples Myers like kryptonite. Thankfully enough, though, Elle and the boys turn up in time. They have clearly heard the alarm, which is going off. And I quite like this because Elle and the boys are willing to go in and dispatch Myers. So like, yeah, let's go in and get him, boys. And then it's Jamie and Rachel who have to be like, no, just leave him for the state police. Come on, you don't need to do this. And then they dumbfoundedly look at each other and be like, to be fair, lads, do we really need to do this?
Yeah, it didn't take much convincing. They kind of went, yeah, if we just go now, we could be in the bar in, 20 minutes?
Yeah. So they all decide to leave. And it's at this point when they're driving down the road, they pass the state police on the way out of town and explain to the state police that Myers in the schoolhouse, you need to get yourself back there and stop him. Unbeknownst to those, Myers is somehow hiding underneath the truck.
Now, I've got a question on this. So there's a scene, as they drive out of the town, you see this car go down, up an incline, where you get a perfect shot directly underneath the car or underneath the truck, and you can see all 4 tires. Myers was not under that truck in that scene.
No, which makes me kind of believe your teleportation theory that you've got going on.
Yeah, he just magically appeared underneath. Twink. Hi.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Yeah, fucking hell, here we go. So Myers jumps up from underneath the truck and he managed to dispatch, I think it's 3 or 4 of the blokes on the back of it.
Yeah, in the back of it. And again, proves that people can't use their rear view mirrors because the sheriff or the police officer couldn't earlier. And Earl driving this truck, people are being thrown off his truck and stabbed in the back of his truck. And he's just driving along like nothing's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I drive a van daily for work. And if I know a screw drops off the back of the shelf in the back of my van, I can hear it when I'm driving, regardless of whether I'm on the motorway or not. Like, if someone's having a wrestling match in the back of my van, I would know about it. Somehow, anyway, Bell manages to go driving down the road without knowing that all the boys have been thrown off the back before Myers smashes the passenger side. Oh, no, he doesn't. He smashes the driver's side window and gets very, very grabby with Earl. These are the best and most gruesome practical effects in this film, where he rips out Earl's jaw, neck, / side of his face.
Yeah, really looks really good.
It looks incredible. This was actually done and put in afterwards due to how tame everybody thought the film was.
Yeah, this is also due to the fact that there was a Friday the 13th and a Nightmare movie that were due around the same time. And it was
this is actually the first year that, in 1998, where we got Dream Warriors 4, Friday 4, and we've also got Myers 4, all in the same year.
And the decision was made that we know A Nightmare on Elm Street is going hard on the gore. We know Friday the 13th is as well. If we don't, we will get left behind.
So they had to step up their game, and these were all done post-production and afterwards.
And they all look great.
They do. It should have been more gory and more kills, in my opinion. I think they were trying to be too sort of. I mean, Myers was pretty established early on for being no blood, not required. He's scary as fuck without it, and rightly so in the original. They do the second one, and it was actually Carpenter himself. I mean, I can't remember who was the director of Halloween 2. The director of Halloween 2 was very faithful to Carpenter's original idea, and he kept it real tame and real anti-blood and all the rest of it throughout. And it was actually Carpenter himself who came back and did rewrites and reshoots and added all the kill scenes in for Halloween 2. I've completely diverged and lost my train of thought. But anyway, this film should have been a lot more violent and more bloodier because it needed to be. It didn't require this level of attention to detail from the first, because it's just a fucking stupid slasher film, and that's all we've got to see. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And the thing is that it takes that tone next. So you get Myers drags Earl out of the car, and I can't think what the sister's name is.
Rachel.
Rachel pushes herself into the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And we get a carbon copy scene from Buffy. We get Myers on the roof as she rags the thing around, exactly the same as we did in Buffy. Where he was
Why are you still saying Buffy on the show? It's 3 weeks now. We're over this now.
I tell you what, when we release this, I'm releasing those clips side by side. It's the fucking same scene.
It is exactly the same scene. Yeah, I agree with you. It is identical. The only thing different about the two is that Myers doesn't lose an arm.
This is true.
Rachel cleverly decides after 42 minutes of driving down the road with Myers on the roof to brake, causing him to fall off the front into the bonnet. She then slams it in first and runs him off the side of a hill. Why Myers chooses not to step aside at this point is beyond me. At least takes her 15 minutes to get to him. Everyone seems to appear out of nowhere. I've got to assume they've all reached the schoolhouse and discovered Loomis, and Loomis has been like,
He's gone.
Get under the truck.
Yeah, I think so.
We need to follow the truck because Loomis knows everything. Why am I shitting on this film? I need to sort my attitude out. I've all of a sudden just gone right downhill with everything. I'm reading my own notes and I'm like, fuck yeah, that actually happened. Shit.
This is almost like retribution for me. All these months of you pushing, and now you're coming round to my way of thinking.
I've watched this film 5 times this week, man. I'm about done with Halloween 4, I'll be honest. Not only have you ruined the greatest film in the franchise for me, you've broken my soul. So Rachel runs him off the side of the hill. All of a sudden, everybody appears, and strangely enough, instead of taking Jamie with her, the 6-year-old girl, and grabbing her hand, Rachel decides to leave her next to Myers and go to speak to Mika.
Yeah.
She explains to Mika what has happened, and she looks back and sees that Jamie is holding hands with Uncle Michael before she gets told off and gets told to step away, which Myers does his sort of iconic sit-up thing that he did in Halloween 1.
Yeah.
Not nowhere near as cool or as impactful. Before finally standing up and getting blasted relentlessly by
everyone
and the boys.
the entire
members.
cast of the movie.
The entire cast of the movie is here for one big final standing ovation. They all wipe out Myers, causing him to fall backwards into a mine shaft. And yeah, that's it. That's Myers done. He's down. We get back to the Carruthers house, and I know you like this, so I'm going to try and do this as respectfully as I can. We get the POV style camera work as we get from the original Halloween, which with the mask and the guy goggles and all the rest of it, you at this point you're like, oh shit, Myers didn't actually die from all those bullet wounds. He's in the house. Rachel's mum, Mrs. Carruthers, is running a bath, at which point you see a hand grab a pair of scissors. She then goes into the bathroom, and you see Mrs. Carruthers get stabbed at the edge of the bath. The next scene we see is Loomis running up the stairs to the scream of Mrs. Carruthers, only to find young Jamie in her clown costume, masked down, holding a pair of bloody scissors, gone, sort of like dead, emotionless at the top of the stairs. To which we get out the outstanding cry of no from Dr. Loomis, who's about to shoot her before Mika dives in and pulls a gun down from him and lowers it to the ground.
Yeah.
How do you find this ending? What's your take
This
on it?
is the best possible twist for a Halloween movie. It is.
Do you think they should have fulfilled it into the future? Do you think they should have carried it on?
This should have been Myers done. If they had left Myers in the ground from here and done 5 and 6 with no Myers and then brought him back for 7 or 8, the franchise would have done a lot better.
You say that though, but it's still one of the strongest out there in terms of horror icons. The Halloween franchise is by far superior to anything else. And I'm not saying that in terms of quality, because I know I'm working my way through a lot of these at the moment. I even think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise has far superior moments than the Halloween franchise. And those are some of the worst ones. The most popular and most well-respected.
Yeah, I mean, Myers is an icon, the same as Freddy and the same as Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface as well. To make a decision to do one of them in and stick to it is incredibly hard because fans go absolutely mad. But I
haven't got that point in the Friday films yet, but don't they do that in that?
Kind of. I'll let you get there. Let you get there because you get kind of a mock Jason.
Yeah, you get a copycat one somewhere.
Yeah,
I know the law, but I haven't seen them.
Yeah, and I think if they had the balls to follow it through, because they hinted at this in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 as well, where she puts the Myers mask on at the end.
Yeah.
And again, I would have been happy had that film not been an absolute pile of shit. I'd have been happy if they'd have followed that on with a new killer. And I hope in Halloween Ends, someone replaces Myers. I'm pegging someone to replace Myers. Myers is getting taken out, and that is closing with a female Myers.
Yeah, you see, the thing is with me is like, I actually don't want Myers to die and be taken over by somebody else. I mean, I'd rather just see the whole franchise retire altogether. I like the ending of this. I thought it was cool and unique. And I like the way it was transitioned well into Halloween 5. I like what they did in Halloween 5, the way she was sort of scarred by the psychic connection between the two and the Myers still being alive. I thought that was great. I just think in execution that just got very fucking weird and lost along the way.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't ever have to do Halloween 5 on the show. So
I'm starting a petition now.
No, we're not doing Halloween 5 on the show. And Gareth, if you're listening and even tried to pull this shit with me, mate, don't even bother. We're not doing Halloween 5 on the show. That's it. That's Halloween 4. We made it.
I'll reserve judgment till later. I'm sure that there are other people who want to chime in, though. Yeah, there's no 3-word reviews this week. There's nothing this week because we wanted to keep this just me and Mark. We knew there was going to be a lot of talking, and you're all going to get a chance to chime in, and we're going to cover those in a couple of weeks. So we're going to, when this is released, we know there's lots of you who are keen to listen to this. So I'm going to put out 3-word reviews and other bits, and we're going to cover that on one of our news episodes in a couple of weeks' time. So you will get to chime in, just not today. This is Mark's moment to shine. Yeah, this is Mark's crowning moment. So where are we going from here, Mark? Because you're running the show. What's next?
Now, after this, we've done the run through. That's it. It's time for facts.
It's time to find out what you know about this movie and what we know. It's facts.
So the girl, Lindsay, who drove Rachel and James to the discount mart, was actually going to be Lindsay Wallace from Halloween. There was a whole subplot involved with her, and I mentioned earlier that the 3 boys in the hardware store, Wade, Brady, and Tommy, he was actually supposed to be Tommy Doyle.
Oh, okay.
So this was supposed to be Lindsay Wallace and Tommy Doyle's return to the franchise, and they were supposed to have a much bigger role and part in this than was originally suggested. I'm not too sure why it wasn't created or why it wasn't developed. But
bad writing.
Most probably, yeah. But I mean, it's suggested again. So I think even in that point in the scene, they do say, I think they do call him Tommy when they're doing the bets and stuff. Series creator John Carpenter wrote a treatment for this film, and he had more ghostly psychological approach to Myers before. It concerned the town of Haddonfield and the effects of the events of the first film and its citizens. The concept was later rejected by the producers in favour of the typical slasher fare. At this point, this is when Carpenter dropped out of the film, making this the first film in the series to have no participation from him. I mean, we spoke about that earlier in the book, book version, and what his original vision was supposed to be.
Yeah, and I think
can understand why the producers had turned it away. I mean, if you're wanting to go back to the slasher franchise and you wanted to take it back to what it's competing against with the Freddy and the Jasons and all the rest of it, you get to the end and you turn in your iconic character Michael Myers into a 14-foot statue. It's going to turn a bit of heads in it in the director's room. Do you think he'll ever return to the director's chair in a phenomenal way like he has done?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, one more. He's got one more in him.
I don't think he has, man.
I think he's got one more.
Yeah. Well, time will tell. We'll see. Anyway, carrying on. Danielle Harris revealed in the 25 Years of Terror documentary that her character runs through the neighborhood screaming for help. Someone actually, I'll give a little bit more context to that scene. In the scene where she is running lost from Rachel, running through the streets, and it's all pitch black and stuff, that was filmed at 4:00 in the morning. People were still living in this. This wasn't a closed off set. This was someone's actual neighborhood, someone's actual street. They see a 6-year-old girl running through the street at 4:00 in the morning screaming for help. Your initial reaction is to call the police. I mean, my initial reaction would be to go out and grab the girl and be like, "Are you okay? Let me help." This strange person felt necessary to go and pick up the telephone and call the police, who were probably 10, 15 minutes away from helping. However, this actually happened. They were filming this scene at 4:00 in the morning. She's running down the street. Somebody called the police, and the police actually had to come onto set and make sure everything was okay and make sure she hadn't been kidnapped or anything like that. The ambulance that transported Michael Myers was a prison bus in an earlier draft of the script, something that was later used in Halloween 2018.
There's no doubt Gordon Green took huge inspiration from H4. He basically took H4 and just done it better.
I think he took H4 and H2O. I think those two were his biggest inspiration in terms of... I mean, to be fair to him, though, they are the pinnacle of the Halloween sequels. Halloween H4 and Halloween H2O are the best of the bunch. If you're going to draw inspiration from anything, you're going to take it from those two films.
Could you imagine if he'd taken inspiration from 5 and 6, what we'd have got? or 5 and Resurrection.
Fucking hell, man. I hate those films so much.
If there's not a reference to Resurrection in Halloween Ends, I will be decidedly disappointed. There's got to be someone trying to do a documentary while it's all going on.
Or a Busta Rhymes cameo.
Oh, I'd take that all day.
Trick or treat, motherfuckers.
as he super kicks Michael Myers in the face.
Oh, God. Honestly, mate, I'd walk out the cinema. I swear to God I would. Right, so my best factor this week is Saya, the one that we spoke about earlier. In the novelization of Halloween 4, Saya and Loomis part ways as they do in the film, but Saya actually decides to assist Loomis throughout the rest of his journey. They have like a companion story in the book.
That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I really need to try and find a copy of this book because it sounds incredible. They head off towards a police station, but once Saya leaves the station, he walks out and bumps straight into Michael Myers, who gets grabby again and actually gouges his eyes out. Later on, Sheriff, Mika, Loomis, Rachel, and Jamie arrive at the station, to which point Saya actually staggers out, blood and pus streaming down his face, grabs hold of Loomis as he sort of like stumbles to the floor and explains to Loomis that he's seen the face of evil. How fucking awesome is that, man?
Why was that not in the movie?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea, because that would have been... Saya's one of the best characters in this film, and the fact that they didn't give him more screen time is criminal. And then to read this and know that this is what the original intent was for his character, it just blows my mind that they didn't keep it in. And my final fact of the week is there was actually a scene filmed which bridged the arc of Loomis from Halloween 2 to Halloween 4, at which point you see Loomis getting blown out of a window. So when the explosion happens at Halloween 2 at the end, and you see Myers walking down the corridor as a burning corpse, it is suggested, or at least Loomis was blown out of a window.
Okay.
Which is how he survived the events of Halloween 2, basically. Loomis is getting loaded into a back of an ambulance after the events, and you see Myers burning on the floor, and Loomis screams out to the paramedics who are trying to basically put a fire extinguisher on Myers' body to save him, let him burn. Something that Gordon Green would later go on to use at the beginning of Halloween Kills.
I would love to see that scene, Loomis screaming, let him burn, and how much more impactful would that have made Halloween Kills?
Yeah, it'd have been cool. It'd have been really cool.
Really
and apparently this is filmed as well. This isn't just folklore. This is actually being filmed.
If someone can
and
find
is in
that,
existence somewhere.
DM me the link. If anyone can find that, DM me the link. I'm desperate to see that.
But that's it. That's it for facts this week. Before we say our goodbyes this week, I'd just like to take a moment to talk about what a ride it's actually been to get us to this point. I mean, it's been insane. It's been insane.
This started as an off-the-cuff comment where you said you wanted H4. I said I fucking hated it.
Well, I was going to ask you, because I don't actually remember how this started.
It was an off-the-cuff comment. I can't even remember what we were reviewing. You went, I like H4, and I went, what a pile of dog shit, or something like that. And from there, it just snowballed. You and me talking off the air, and then I created a meme about how H4 was shit. And then from there, it just become this thing that's dominated.
It's become a phenomenon. It's taken off to insane levels, and I honestly can't thank everybody else being involved. And regardless of how stupid it has been to get us to this point, it's been wildly entertaining for me and for Scott as well. And I know he's been ragged on a lot for the memes and stuff he's been tagged in. But it's been fun to interact with you all regarding this insanely wild phenomenon, because
the crazy thing
really
is,
doesn't justify this level of entertainment. Honestly,
so
it really doesn't.
There's a lot of people who get involved, and they will tag me and stuff on Instagram, and they'll make it very public. And there's lots of people who obviously call in the show who've said they want H4, and there's lots of people who are involved like that. But I honestly get every week, if I make a H4 comment, I will get 10, 15, 20 direct messages going, you need to do H4. When are you doing H4? Why have you not done H4? Why do you hate H4? Was it someone messaged me yesterday? They messaged me, I am starting to lose faith in your show, because why will you not do H4? It is one of the best movies going. I just replied, it's really not.
It's mad. It's mad. It really, really is. And don't get me wrong, I fucking love this film. It is amazing. I'll watch it countless times throughout the year. I just never expected it to garner the attention it did from everybody. People have just gone wild for it.
Yeah,
Nobody has gone wilder than Gareth either. He has been dedicated to this cause.
Gareth and Heather and Voices of the Mausoleum, bit of Bestie Breakdown, Tasha and Angel have both been on my case.
Yeah. Jim's Retro Emporium.
Jim's Retro Imitation Dave.
Mad. It's just insane. It's just, I just don't get what. It's been mad. It's been mad. And I hope you've all enjoyed the episode because it's been fun getting us here.
It's been a long time coming.
To talk about it. Yeah, it's been fun to talk about it. It really, really has. So let's do our roundups. Let's give our final thoughts.
Are you going first? Do you want to end it on a high? The roundups? Do you want me to take mine first?
I would like you to take yours first. We'll see what you've got to say, and then I'll try and do my best to leave a positive note in everybody's mind before we walk away.
Okay. Halloween 4 is a movie that I have resisted for a long time. I have seen this movie countless times before, and my problems with it all lie around the things I've said in this episode: the fact Michael Myers can teleport or can fly, the continuity errors, and the things that just don't make sense. And it's such a poorly written movie that I just find it a chore to watch. And there are some highlights in it that I really enjoy. And I think it's got one of the best twists in horror, full stop. There is not another iconic slasher that had the balls to make the decision that they made in the end of this movie, but then they didn't carry it through. But that's a whole nother gripe. This movie could be so much better. And Mark's pointed out some of the ways that could happen. I think the main way for that to happen was listen to John Carpenter, because I want a 14-foot Michael Myers.
Amen to that shit.
Yeah. This movie's not a regular watch for me. I genuinely don't enjoy it. And it's not all been a flash for the show. I genuinely dislike this movie. Score-wise, this is and I'm being generous now because I know how much Mark loves it. This is a 3 out of 10.
I'm surprised you went as high as you did. I'll be honest with you.
That's me giving you a point because I've really enjoyed the episode. It's a 2, honestly. I really hate it. I hate
it. Right. Well, for me, this is more of a nostalgia thing than anything else. Like, I grew up watching this. I mean, this is a very tame Halloween film. I mean, I've loved horror. I've always loved horror. But as a kid growing up, horror's very fucking horrifying for a child. Watching Halloween 4, I would have no trouble showing this film to sort of a 6, 7, 8-year-old, I think. Not necessarily sit down and watch it, but I wouldn't feel uncomfortable putting it on in the background during a Halloween party, which kids were in attendance of. I don't think it's a terrifying film in the slightest. I don't think it's remotely scary. But it's certainly one of the most enjoyable films in the Halloween franchise. There's no denying that. If you have all 12, 13 films stacked up in front of you and you just want to sit down, unwind, kick back, it's the one I'm picking every single time.
There's 2 below this for me.
Out of curiosity, what is that?
6.
Rightly so, depending on which cut you're watching, but go on.
And H20.
Well, you hate H20 more than you hate this?
H20 is my least favourite Halloween movie.
Looks like we're starting a petition to get H20 on the show then.
No!
Because H20 is fucking awesome, man.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Halloween H2O, here we go. Anyway, this isn't perfect in the acting department, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Danielle Harris is breakout outstanding, but everybody else that comes after her is sketchy in places. I mean, Pleasance is Pleasance in everything he does. He feels a little bit cashed in this one, I'm not going to lie, but he's great. This film is fucking shite, man. It's absolute dog shit. But I love it, and I can't pretend that I don't. And I watch it. I don't just watch it in the Halloween season. I watch it like, fuck me, I would say I watch this at least once a month, possibly maybe once every 2 months. No hesitation. You've got 2 films, maybe 3 films that I think do as well as this does. I think you've got Halloween 4, you've got Hocus Pocus, and you've got Trick or Treat. And they're your sort of 3 staple introductions to the Halloween season. You have to watch them to get you in the mood, and then you can continue your horror journey throughout the rest of October. I've ragged on it. I've hated on it. I've pulled it apart. As I said, I would try and be as honest and as faithful as I can. But it doesn't change the fact that I still fucking love it. That's Halloween 4.
What do you score it? Don't do that. What do you score it?
It's a 4 out of 5.
Fuck it off.
Yeah, all day long. Man, I tell you now, right? Everyone always, I get it all the time. People are like, oh, what? You gave this a 3, but then you gave this and that, and then you gave this and this, and then it's like...
I scored this the same as Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah, you're a lunatic. You have no credibility. Yeah, like my scores are not based. I'm not a critic. I'm not a certified movie reviewer. I do this based on my own entertainment and my own enjoyment. So my scores are based on my enjoyment of the film. Like, I'm not trying to get my scores put on a movie poster to 4 stars from MW Horror Reviews. That's not what my game is here.
You say that if they'd have given you an advanced screening of H4 and you'd have given it 4 stars, you would have been on the cover 100%. 4 stars.
Fuck yeah, man, I'd have given it my best pose as well. I'd have been like finger over the mouth and all sorts. I'd have milked that shit till the cows come home. I love Halloween 4. It's great. And
fantastic. Glad you enjoyed it. Next week, we have got Creature from the Black Lagoon. As we go all black and white, we do a bit of retro movies, which I've never seen before.
I'm excited as well. I've done Nosferatu and probably maybe glimpses of Phantom of the Opera, but I've never really sat down and dedicated my time to an old-time black and white film. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this.
Thank you, everyone who's been involved in H4. I honestly can't thank you enough for the hype and the fun wild ride you've made this. It's been great, and although the movie's shit and I'm never going to change my mind on it, I've enjoyed the episode. So thank you very much.
Yep, thank you very much, and see you next week. Oh, brilliant. Hold on, Scott. Just before we go, just a quick one. What do you get when a ghost has been in a car accident?
We opened the show with a joke. Okay, let's end it.
Yeah, let's end it with a joke as well. What do you get when you get a ghost in a car accident?
I have no idea. What do you get?
You get a broken spirit.
You prick.
I told you, I want to play a game.
They will say that I have shed innocent blood.
The power of Christ compels you!
What have you done to its eyes?
Well, it's elevated horror.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
You're going to like it.
I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
How was that, the slaughterhouse?
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Oh, I know this one, you fuck.
Let me get this right. Not only have you made me sit through H4, you're now going to make me do Broken Spirit.
I told you I would get you, and I couldn't think of a better time to get you.
But I'm already in a bad mood. Why would you do that to me now?
Are you fucking kidding me? You actually need me to answer that question for you? Have you seen what you've done to me throughout this season?
Oh, do you know what? I'm going to spite you now. I'm going to get all fucking 15.
I hope to God you do. Otherwise, it would have just been a waste of my time to write all 15 questions. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Do you need to grab a beer? Are you feeling cool? Are you feeling relaxed?
I'm feeling all right. You're such an arsehole.
Now you know how I feel. Welcome to my world. Right, I want to start it off real simple. Question number 1. What year was Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers released?
Oh, shit. 1988.
That's correct. Well done. 10 points.
I doubted myself for a minute there. I nearly went 1990. I'm glad I didn't.
Question number 2. How many movies are there in the Child's Play franchise, not including remakes or TV continuation TV shows?
Okay, so you've got Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Cult, Curse. I think that's it. 7.
That is correct. You got Curse and Cult the wrong way around, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I got all of them. I'm happy with that.
You got all of them. Yeah, you got the question right. That's another 20 points. Question number 3. This is Horror Not Horror. I love Horror Not Horror. We should bring Horror Not Horror back because it is by far the best game that we've ever done. I say we. I missed that season.
You did.
R.I.P. But anyway, Horror Not Horror is fantastic. So let's do Horror Not Horror. So the question is, it's not even a question. You've just got to tell me whether the quote is from a horror film or not a horror film. The pain I can assure you will be exquisite.
That's a horror movie, and that's Candyman.
Well done. I was going to say to you, can you tell me what film it's from? It is indeed from Candyman.
I do better than I thought I was going to. I'm quite pleased.
You did. Another 10 points. That gives you a total of 30 points.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, that puts me in joint first place.
That does put you in joint first place. Well done. You are currently tied first place with Zayford from Spaceman and the Doll. And is that it? Robbie Horrod?
No, that's it.
That's it.
Just Zayford, yeah.
All right, so this is it then. Question number 4. You get this right, you are currently in the lead, and you have the opportunity to walk away. I'll be really mad at you if you walk away, by the way. Question number 4. In The Shining, the Grady daughters are twins. Yes or no?
Are they twins? Book. Think book.
Man, you've read this book countless times. I've
Fucking
hated these questions.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not twins. No, they're definitely not twins.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. No, they're not twins.
Final answer?
Yeah, I think.
That is correct. No, they're not actually twins. Although being referred to as twins, and despite looking alike and dressing alike, they are actually 2 years apart in age.
Okay.
So that is another 10 points. Well done. Question number 5, I think.
Yeah, 5.
Fucking hell, man, you are doing well. Over the course of the 12 Halloween films, how many times has Donald Pleasance reprised his role as Dr. Samuel Loomis? This is really going to test you.
5.
Fuck you, man. You do not care about this franchise enough to know the answers to that question.
1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, I think.
That is correct. Well done, sir. That is 5 points. That puts you on 50 points.
Hey, I'm going all the way. Question number 6. I'm all excited now.
Yeah, get giddy. Let's do it. Right, question number 6.
You thought you were fucking me with the Halloween question.
I'm just luring you in nice and simple, man.
Okay.
Shitstorm to come your way. Question number 6. At the end of the film Beetlejuice, Lydia dances to the song Jump in Line with Adam and Barbara. What did she do to warrant that celebration? And I'm going to give you a multiple choice on this because I think this is quite a hard question.
I know the answer.
Fuck off. In fact, I'm not giving you multiple choice. What's the answer?
She passed her maths test.
You motherfucker.
Shake, Sonora, shake your body right. Work,
you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this level of score. Right. Question number 7. In the hit TV show Stranger Things, what is the name of 11th sister number 8?
I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of me walking away. What was her sister called?
Number 8.
Oh man. Think.
Not to diverge too much and put you off anyway, I'll just speak directly to the listeners at this point, but I hope she comes back in season 5 and has a pivotal point in the Stranger Things story. Otherwise it feels like a very wasted episode in the season.
Oh man. Carly. It was Carly.
Callie, that is correct. Well done. Fucking hate you so much right now. Honestly, I can't tell you how angry I am at you. Right.
Where am I? Question 7?
This is question number 8.
Question 8? Shit.
This is question number 8.
This is the furthest anyone's ever got.
You have, yeah, because I think I got 6 is my furthest on both attempts I've had so far. I think I got question 6. So you are well ahead of the game in terms of everybody else. Right, fuck it up. Let me try and just fucking step this up a notch. I have like reserved questions that I can get you with that are really, really hard.
You might need them.
Do you reckon?
It looks that way so far. I'm on 8.
All right, this one might stump you a little bit. Question number 8. How old was Daniel Harris whilst filming Halloween 4?
11.
Fuck! I would have accepted 10 then as well, because she turned 11 during filming.
She did, because she had her birthday party on set and they got a big thing for her. That's how I know, because I
didn't expect you to care enough about this film to do this level of research. How do you fucking know the answer to that question?
I always do research into the movies, always.
Fucking hell, man, honestly. Right, okay.
That just in case anyone's wondering, that noise, that's Mark toking on a vape pen in rage.
I'm so fucking furious right now. Right, okay. In the opening to the original 1996 film Scream, Which 2 horror movies does Casey have to answer questions about? You have no
Halloween.
multiple choice.
Halloween and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Halloween and...
You sure that's your answer?
What's your favourite scary movie? His favourite scary movie was Halloween.
Yeah.
What's his favourite scary movie? Favourite scary movie was Halloween. Is that the one with the guy with the mask, the white mask? Yeah. Is that the one with the guy with the hockey mask? No, it's not. It's the guy with the white... Friday the 13th and Halloween. That's my final answer.
Fucking really wish you'd give you first.
You should have taken it. I'm right, aren't I?
You are right, yes. It's Halloween and Friday the 13th. What does that give you now? Where are you now? I've even lost track. I'm not annoyed by you at the moment.
I am on question 10. I'm into double-digit questions.
Right, I'm trying to bring up the good big guns early.
What do you mean early? We're nearly at the end. I've nearly done it.
Yeah, but these are the ones that I was like saving till the end to sort of stupor you, thinking you wouldn't even got this far.
It's lucky you wrote 15 questions.
It's very fucking lucky I wrote 15 questions. I was only going to write like 5 or 6, thinking you've got no chance.
That would have been amazing if you got to question 5 and then just got, I haven't got any more.
Right, okay, here we go. This is it. This will test your memory to the extreme. Who narrated the opening monologue for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1973? He also returned to the 2003 remake and the latest continuation in 2000.
John Larroquette.
Motherfucker.
He also narrated a fan film that's been
We
made
don't need
the moment.
facts at this point. We're in the middle of a quiz. Mate, have you got a copy of the answers, by the way?
No, I've got nothing. I haven't got any notes for this episode. This is all
prepared you've come.
This is all from memory. I done a you. I watched the film and turned up with a beer.
It's a lot more entertaining being on your side than it is mine, I'll be honest.
I thought I was going to do a lot worse than this. I'm happy. I'm happy, but now I'm so close I can't walk away now.
Have you kept track of where we are?
Yeah, I'm on question 11.
You're on question 11, right. Question number 12. Let me find the hardest one I can find in all of my questions.
I'm trying to do me out early.
Too fucking right, man. Yeah, I don't want you getting all the way. Right, here we go. This one's going to get you. Right. Who is the only actor to portray Freddy Krueger other than Robert Englund before, don't get too giddy, before the 2010 remake?
Can you tell me if it was in a nightmare movie?
I will tell you that it wasn't a nightmare movie.
Think. Is he on screen? Do you see the whole Freddy?
In terms of what?
In terms of, do you see another actor portray Freddy full body?
No.
God, what? Yeah, it's fucking Jason Goes to Hell. Jason Goes to Hell. The Freddy glove. Kane Hodder.
Yeah. You fucking pain in the ass, man. Yes, it was Kane Hodder. He played Freddy Krueger's clawed glove hand that came out in the end scene of Jason Goes to Hell, and he's the only other actor to portray Freddy on screen, barring Jackie L, whatever his face is in the remake.
So where am I now? Question 13?
You are on question 13. You have 2 questions to go. I believe you're on 2 questions to go. Yes, 2 questions to go.
Okay.
I don't know which one I should give you first. Right, let's go. Question 14. What's the name of the institute in which Hannibal Lecter is held?
It's something for the criminally insane.
That is correct, but I need the name.
It begins with a P as well. Parkhurst. Parkhurst Home for the Criminally Insane. That's what I'm going with. Yeah, Parkhurst. Parkhurst? Pankhurst? Painhurst? Yeah, I'm going Parkhurst. Parkhurst Home for the Criminally Insane. Fuck. What was it?
It was Baltimore State Hospital for the criminally insane. Hey, man, fucking hell, don't be disheartened, man. That was an incredible performance. My questions were very varied not in terms of difficulty, because I tried my hardest to make this hard for you. In terms of scope of you know your horror knowledge, man. Well done. That was fucking impressive performance.
I'm just pleased I got the Halloween ones, because those are the ones I know that you thought I was out on.
We might have to top up. I think that put you didn't get to, that wasn't. Yes, I do apologize. That was question 13.
Yeah, but I finished on 0. So
you did. Welcome to the club. It's a nice place to be.
Yeah, I'm still at 00. Anyway.
Yeah, but there's still plenty more episodes to go this season, so we'll see.
Me, 0 points. Joint 3rd place.
That's not bad.
Oh,
That's the furthest anybody has gotten in the quiz so far. You had 2 questions to go. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. The next episode of Newsweek, which is coming up after this episode, if you head over to that episode, for those of you who haven't checked it out, I will introduce the last 2 questions. And if Scott hadn't have stumbled on that, we will see whether he would have made it much further. There's 2 more questions to go. As soon as we open that episode, I'm going to hit him with those first 2 questions, and we'll see whether we got them right or wrong, and see whether he would have made it had he got the Hannibal Lecter question right.
Yeah, okay. No, that's cool. Thank you, Mark, I think.
Thank you, man. Thanks for the opportunity to get Halloween 4 on the show. It's been fun. I wish I'd have made you squirm a little bit more on the quiz, but I can't even knock you for that, man. That was an incredible performance. Well done, sir. Well, you deserve it.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone.
You deserve your 0 points.
Yeah, nil point. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And I'm done now. We're gonna go and record horror movie news, where we leave the mics running, and you can listen to that episode on Friday. So this is out Tuesday. That's out Friday. Where I'm pretty sure I'm going to continue to moan at Mark for H4, and I'm going to answer the last 2 questions correctly, which is going to annoy me even more. So
and I am going to start my rally for Save Halloween H2O. So we will see you. We'll see you on the next episode.
See you later.
You want to die tonight?
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the You Run podcast. Don't forget to get involved in the show. All you need to do is head to our website, yourunpodcast.com.
This is not our show. This is your show.